Here we go. Ooh, hat on. Let me have a little think. There we are. Go and grab some. Go and grab me some. Let me just get my streaming activity thing, stream manager, open in front of me. There we are. That's good. Very nice. That's a new thing. I've got a little holder for my phone so that I can see my stream manager in front of me on my phone. If I remember to look at it ever. I'm not sure if this is worth the while. I have to do 2 lengths of the field in order to make it only 1 length of the field. So that can't be logical. That can't make any sense. I think I'll just do this one strip and then call it a day. It's quite fun, but it cannot be economically viable. It just can't be. Got to go back a bit. The other thing to do would just be get a much, much bigger rake, but I don't want to do that because that's pointless. It's just got to drive up and down lots of times. There are perhaps more useful things I could be doing, like I could be planting the fields that I've already harvested with soybeans for next season. Because if I get them done today, which is November, I should be able to harvest them by June, I think. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 7 months is gone. I don't think there's anything that takes more than 5 or 6 months to ripen. So I'm going to be, yeah. I think that's the sensible choice. Let's just quickly whip this to the store. I can't remember how many times I've done that. How many chickpeas do I have? Oh, that's my second load of chickpeas. Very good. And we're going to get a decent number of chickpeas, I guess, off this field. Seems like quite a good crop. I'm going to go up to the top end where the spout will be on the correct side when I need it. Currently, we're only half full, so when it gets back to the top, they should be full. Let's pop this away and get the seeder on. The seeder that I haven't really used, the one that I bought, it's about a 10-meter planter, I think, rather than a seeder. And I've never really used it because it didn't. Last time I planted chickpeas and lentils and it doesn't do chickpeas and lentils. But I'm pretty certain it will do soybeans. But I'm now doubting my timings. So let's go up to here. Soybeans highest price in June. I shouldn't doubt myself. Sunflowers highest price in Feb. That's no good. Corn is June. Likewise, but corn takes a long time, and we've just grown some corn, so we need to rotate a bit. Sorghum, canola, oat, barley. Yeah, that all makes sense. Soybean, June. Let's go for it. And I think that the machine is here. And it fertilizes and plants. And it does soybeans, so that's very good. I'm going to need to fill up with fertilizer, but before we do that, I'm going to need to make sure that I'm alert here, ready to empty the combine, which should need emptying almost immediately. Should just about make it to the end. And then it's going to need, I don't know why it's backing up first. There's masses of room. Oh, I suppose that's to tidy up the straw situation. Yeah, very good. I take it all back. Good bit of driving. Let's get right there. Let's get right on it. Come on. Don't be too far away. It's what you did last time. You messed up. That's annoying. Right, let's go and grab some seeds. We'll just pop here first of all and check that all is in the best possible working condition. Do a little bit of a repair on the old tractor. Do a little mini repair on the planter. Go and she's all full of seed, but she needs some. It's all got a little bit cluttered here, hasn't it? But we can get this going, and then I will come back and grab let's check. Automatic seed rate is chosen. Crop sensor is on. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's not going to put any nitrogen in because it shouldn't put any nitrogen in because it's soybeans, and soybeans don't require any nitrogen. Crucially, I wonder whether crop does not require additional nitrogen, so it's not going to put any in. That's great. It's not doing it. I knew that. It's just early in the morning. My brain's not functioning. Let's whiz out to the field. I wonder whether this row is actually going to be physically too large for me to drive up. It does look like it's going to be quite a challenge. Let's check on combo. Combo is fine, apart from the fact that I'm now calling it combo, which it doesn't like. Cool. It's a bit of an adventure ride. Again, it would be lovely if my tiny touches of the controller produced just the tiniest movements of the vehicle, and I don't quite know what to do about that. Maybe that's something I should experiment with in settings. Love the sound effects. They're really good. Bumping and thumping. That's a big old bit. So now we just go up just a standard row, which is less challenging. Fills up less quickly. Get to the top. Then we'll check out what's going on with the combine, which I suspect has stopped. I can see on my little mini map down to the left that it's stopped. We need to whip it over into the next field, the final field. Whoa, Big Daddy. It's only half full, no point puffing and faffing. Now though, this combine's quite big for this little field. And oh dear, I'm going to knock this sign over as I come through. What about if I get out and pull the sign out? How about that? No, I'm going to have to knock it over with the combine. It's a bit annoying. Once you've knocked it over with the combine, then it's easy enough to pick up. Well, assuming you move the combine far enough forward. And just put it out of the way. And I'll apologise to the local authority later. God, this is a big old beastie, isn't it? I wonder if I need straw. I'm probably going to have enough straw. I might determine that I have enough straw and chop this straw. Good. Now then, let's go up here and do this little piece. Yeah. See how that goes. This is only putting the tiniest amount of nitrogen, which is good. Shouldn't really be putting any in. Soybeans have nodules on their roots that house bacteria that grab nitrogen out of the atmosphere and turn it into nitrate in the soil. So you don't need to put additional nitrogen on with soybeans. They're an excellent rotation crop when you've just had you've just grown grain or something like that in the field, which will have depleted the nitrogen considerably. This is not what I need to be doing, but I'll just go down to the end of the row since I'm here. I need to get the big old combining, because it's costing me money as long as I'm hiring it. Even though I've got time set 1:1, so it'll only be a couple of hours of usage. It's all money. Eats into my profits. I think I'm going to tip this as I go past, even though it's only half a load, because then I can just become a storage bin to be topped up as and when I'm out in the field. Oh, unnecessary driving on the crop there. Park here, accessible. Don't drive on the crop, please. I'll go back down to the bottom. I can fill the trailer up on my way. Oh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Go and sort out work at E in a second. Yes, we've got into a pickle. Fair enough. This all looks pretty good. Yeah, we're good to the corner. So let's do a smupsy downsy. Don't know if there's turning space at the end. I think there probably is. If there isn't enough, we'll put a couple of strips in. I really don't have time for that. Now what? Oh, no. Okay. Why did the engine stop? I don't know. I didn't stop the engine. Is it to do with how many different vehicles I've flicked to? If I only flick between two, the engine stays running, but the moment I flick out to a third, the engine conks out. I think I'd know how to do this by now. It's been quite a long time since whenever the first game came out, 2013 or something. Never quite got the hang of it. turned quite satisfactorily. Putting stuff in, nice texture. That will definitely respond to being rolled. We're going to need to get some kind of weed control equipment. Perhaps a big self-propelled sprayer. Well, no, I don't think I want a self-propelled sprayer. I think sprayer that I attach to a tractor, because then it's not another vehicle that we switch to. But a decent-sized something or other. Seem to turn right, all right down there. Just do a few yards of this. Quite nice to get it up to 100%. I think you spend too long on here. It's not quite going to do it. That big old patch. Just do a little tidy up. I'm going to come back again because I want to be full when I'm on the... Oh, that's quite a squish, isn't it? I want to be full when I'm on the other side of the field, but maybe I'll go down this side because I'm only half full. All is well. Then we were thinking about sprayers. I want a tractor-mounted sprayer, but I want a bit of punch. I don't think I want a towy one because I think it makes the mechanics of... That says 33 meters. That's 24 meters. It makes the mechanics of running around the field quite tricky when you're towing it. Makes turning all a bit more challenging. I could get a precision sprayer. 24 meters precision sprayer. So that spot sprays. That just picks out the individual weeds, which is rather lovely. They're very attractive, those ones. But I think this is the way to go. Spot spraying on. Very expensive. Do we have full choice of tank colours? We do. So naturally we will go with Fent Classic, and the sprayer arms will be Fent Red, and the details will be Onyx Black, and that is then £76,000. Well, we may as well buy it because it's going to be a useful thing for a number of reasons. Let's get a front tank. That will be Fent Classic and Fent Red, and let's buy that as well. It's got a future. I wonder what the combine's doing. I can't quite remember where I left it. Oh yes, going up and down quite happily. There we go. Just have a quick check on the combine. Annoying. Because it's as far away from that trailer as it could possibly be. Various options. But there's no one driving that traction trailer, so I've got to go to it. Took my eye off the ball again. Messed up. Classic style. Getting a decent yield off this field, but it is loam. So it's the best kind of soil on the farm. What I'd like to identify is a really big field somewhere on the map that we could purchase. Or I've just spent quite a lot of money on a very expensive spraying outfit. But a big let's cut one more. Let's tip this into the digester. Am I getting funny microphone noise? Am I getting little crackly microphone noises? I can see the needle flickering. Maybe it's not too bad. It was quite bad the other day. I didn't notice, obviously, until afterwards, because I can't hear it in my headphones. We're going to tip this. Quite a lot of chickpeas, one way or another. I think it's unlikely that I'm going to run out of space in the combine. But I will empty it into the trailer and then send it back to the shop as soon as I finish this little bit. Let's have a quick check of the processes. I haven't started straw silage production, but could do, because I've got a fair old bit of straw in there. That big digester tower there to the left, that is turning these crops into silage. Silage is a valuable commodity as feed for cows. Don't have any cows. But also it can go off to a digester and be made into various forms of biofuel. which have a decent value. Sort of 500 £500 per 1,000 litres is the kind of maximum price one would expect to get. And that's pretty good when you've got huge quantities of it. Potentially, kind of 250,000 litres or 500,000 litres. Oh, that's a bit careless. Turned the whole harvester off, only meant to stop the header. It's my lack of concentration. It's not good. I suppose I need all the pink lights and the flashing things on the screen and all the rest of it that other Twitch streamers have. I don't know about any of that stuff, so I've got to find out about it. I do sound like an old man. Well, I am an old man, so it's not surprising. Return. There we are. Harvest finished. Now, if in the rest of the day we can get the soybeans planted, we'll check on the pH situation, get the soybeans planted, and then next month, when there are weeds, we will spot spray them with our new expensive sprayer. It's expensive because it has this capacity to pick out individual weeds, but that of course means you use a lot less weed killer, so you are saving money in the long run. It's quite a long-term investment, but I haven't spent any money for a while, so it seemed like a good move. I'm just unhappy about the way this trailer has been parked, so I'm just going to tidy that up while I'm here. Cool. Now, before we put this tractor away, let's find out what the lime situation is like. The pH value is good here, and I think the pH value is good over here. pH value is good on the whole out here. So we might just pop this tractor away for the moment, or we could go and pick up our new sprayer. So what I'll do is I will send it off on its own, so that we can finish off with this. Just done a very reasonable job on this field. We were thinking about buying a bigger field. I guess 32 is a possibility. It's a decent size. It's not too far away. 32 is already ours, so I don't know why I'm saying that. I quite like regularly shaped fields. It just makes the whole process easier, which means 53 is a possibility. It is a little bit of a way away, but not huge. What's the price of 53? 53 is £249,000, and currently it has sugar beet in it, and it's sugar beet that is ripening. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that, because the last thing I want is to have a need for harvesting sugar beet, which is it's not a bore, but it's hard work. Too sweaty, as my former students would say. Too sweaty. What's on the second-hand market at the moment? Oh look, there is a second-hand sprayer in the... Yeah, but not as good as the one that we've got. Just got a little bit there that's been missed. I think your picture will resolve itself as we get closer. I don't know if there's a version of this game where you don't get that lack of clarity when things are far enough away. Perhaps if you're on a big swanky PC with a big processor, perhaps it happens then. Love the animation on that. Don't need those. They are full and unnecessary. Check the state of this. Oh, not a sensible thing. Don't drive off that cliff. Might be quite nice to have a fence there, but just to remind one that there is, in fact, quite a drop. pH value is good. So I'm going to drill straight into it. Starting this corner here, where it's the only real obstruction. Right, very nearly drove straight into that. These things are huge. 24 meters is more than enough. And they're more maneuverable when they're mounted on the tractor, in my opinion. And again, park it next to the fertilizer spreader. You can put fertilizer on with this, liquid fertilizer, or you can put weed killer. That's the reason for getting it, is to put herbicide on, pesticide. It has half the spreading distance of the fertilizer spreader, which is a 48 meter one. This is 24 meters, but I mean that, it will just open it up just to see. That is a formidable spread. It will not take long to do any of these fields, covering them 24 metres at a time. I'll probably unfold one more bit. Yeah. I mean, that is not bad going, is it? That is going to absolutely cover that field. But of course, we're not going to worry about it until next month, when we've actually got some physical weeds we can see. We could pre-spray it, and then no weeds would emerge. That's all quite busy in there, isn't it? I did buy a weeder, but it's quite a lot of acreage to cover with a physical weeder. Right, I think I shall take over from the little electric tractor, picking up straw. But only after I've put the lime spreader away. Is that my longest continuous period of silence? I think it might be. Let's tidy this little mess up here. It's just pure incompetence. Just going to get out and see what the lime situation like. It's like the pH value is good. That field is very nearly done. I'll go and sow the small field because this one I am busy in. It's encountered a tree. That might be a problem. It's not a problem. Look at that, very nicely done. Whole thing very beautifully attended to. Just want to drag you a little bit further over so you're not overlapping the path by quite so much. Terrific. A little look out here. pH value is good, nitrogen is perfect. It needs rolling, and of course there are weeds growing. Well, that's all jobs that we can do. Not only can do, but will do. Just got to pick up the rest of this straw, and then I'll pop the roller on here. Going to take care of that. Question is whether I will paint the roller to match the tractor. It's highly likely that I will. It's the sort of thing that I do. This is nearly done. When I get to the bottom here, we will set up the cedar in the other small field. There we go. It is, of course, a planter, not a seeder. If I just call it a drill, then that covers both. We'll do a turn point, do 2 strips at both ends. I kept meaning to do something about these stones, didn't I? I have been talking about doing something about these stones. This is the only field that's really stony, and I don't know whether there's a stone picker that will do a decent job. Never really got into stone picking. Stone pickers. What is the biggest stone picker here? This one is 5.5 meters wide. There's 9 mph. What And the wheel setup opportunities. All pretty standard. Excuse me. Oh dear. And how much is it to lease? £2,500. I'm going to lease it, and we will have a go at picking up stones. Let's use this tractor for it, because it's got a bit of grunt. It's only 20 past 10. Masses of time. In the real world, it's 10:15. That's rather fun, isn't it? Almost time for my 11s. There it is. Big old fella it is. I don't know whether it will destroy the bit of crop that I've planted. I mean, I think it ought to. But it is so little that we're not going to worry about it. Only a little tutty thing. So. Let's get myself lined up. Now then. Is this capable of being pulled by a... It does feel to me suspiciously like a field. It's not picking up any stones. Do you have to have ploughed the ground first before it'll work? I'll just quickly check that. Well, possibly it's because I've turned field stones off. It's going to claim there aren't stones in the field, even though one can clearly see that there are. Last little thing to test. Just grab this. I'll just plough a bit and see if that makes a difference. I suspect it just, because field stones are turned off, it's just saying there are no stones, even though one can clearly see that there are stones. But I'll just plough a section and see if that makes a difference, that the fact that the ground is cultivated. Let's just plough to the end. And there are stones. Undoubtedly. Stones that one does not see in the other fields. Now does it pick up the stones? If not, we will abandon the project and I will have wasted money. Oh. There we go. So. The moment it's ploughed, then it can pick up stones. So what that means is that I am going to tidy up here a bit, and then I'm going to quickly plough this field. Shall I use this plough, even though it's a bit on the small side? I think I may as well. It won't take forever, will it? It does mean I'm doing the good work. Ploughing up my little bit of planted stuff there. Let's swing around. Crack on here. We could fill up with seeds, and I'm going to have to go around the block twice, aren't I? We're going to fill up with seeds. And then go and have a little look at that larger field. And then I'll use the electric tractor to finish off the forage wagon work. Let's finish the job that I started. Oop. It's a little bit uncomfortable. Slightly painful, 9 or 10 miles an hour instead of 14, but it's getting the job done. Getting out of the way for the seeder. So So it's all good. Quite nice to make it to the end. Oh, well, that's terrific. Do I want to do 3 strips? Yeah, I guess I do. I didn't mean to stop the ploughing process here. Let me just tidy this up a touch. Stuff. We are in crisis. Drive over your lovely newly planted bit of field. But let's do upsy downsies. Hopefully I will remember before we get to the top so that I can come back down again. There we go. Unforgivable, really. Drive across the newly sown plot. Terrific. We've got quite a bit going on in there. The feedmaster is running low on sugar beet, which we should do something about. Grass silage is chuntering away. Straw silage is chuntering away. We will end up with over 500,000 litres of silage, which should translate to about £250,000 in cash. And I'm thinking of changing the big JCB for a big Fendt, the big 1050, which may be too big. Maybe too big. It's just a very beautiful thing. Now then, what was I not going to forget? I was not going to forget to help this with turning at the top, but I have forgotten that. Somewhat predictably. Let's turn this into the grain door. We're going to need to tidy up. We're going to need to tidy these fellas up a bit because they don't seem to be quite in the right place. We don't want to be anywhere near the sell point because otherwise we will accidentally sell stuff, and what I really want to do is to get it into the... So let's move this. And then let's straighten out this. So let's... It's not the easiest thing in the world to steer, but let's give ourselves a bit of a run up. Lovely. Let's grab this chap and arrange him so that he is near. He needs to overlap that end with the auger and overlap at this end with the bit of concrete. Let's turn on the conveyor belt. So I'm just going to check that I did turn on the conveyor belt then. Yeah. And let's grab some cut sugar beet. Should be just there. £1,800 worth of cut sugar beet. Let's tip it here. Good. We're really thinking we've done that. That's not a bad effort. Just whip down the end, make sure I'm happy with everything. This field, of course, now is not going to need weeding later on, having been ploughed, which is a nice quirk of FS22. I wonder if that will be true of FS25 when it comes out in a month's time, November the something. November the 25th would be sensible, wouldn't it? Because it's FS25. But maybe it comes out sooner than that. Now then, this is going to be a a slow-ish process, I imagine, because it's not a particularly large device. I'm going to hook up the old stone clearer, automated Richard Herring. We'll spring along as far as that piece there. How are we doing? Doing fine. Wrong end of the field. Oh, it's doing it, even though it has already been done. Okay, that's nice. Now then, let's see about coming back. That is quite nice. Like the texture. It's a little bit like a cultivated texture. Right, now we shall go down the field and do something similar at the far end, and then leave it to run whilst we crack on with sorting out the other fields. Does seem to have been coping fine with this turning at the top end. It's right on the cusp of being powerful enough, I think, to pull this, despite the fact it's being a massively absurd tractor. Pretty tight turning. I think what we will do is we will do this little bit, and come back, and then go and top up the seeds. How is this going? Yeah. Well, I ought to put a turning point in because it's a little bit tight. Let's check on that. Just going to see if I've got any seeds in store. Looks like he's turning around okay. I don't think I've got any seeds in my underground storage slot. I think I've used them all. Oh, did say start filling. Oh, that's amazing. So no recollection, well, can't say no recollection, little recollection of having had seeds, but I did. So it's good to have finally been getting rid of these stones that have been annoying me since day one. I keep forgetting to do anything about them. Right, I think I can continue to go upsy downsies. Now the other things needed, it needs some barley, needs some minerals, needs some water. Minerals I do by hand. I can go and grab some minerals, that's not a problem. full of minerals. Needs a little bit of barley. Doesn't need very much. Needs about half a trailer full. I was a little bit wary of putting anything in when it's not needed in huge amounts because of how tricky it is to only put a small amount in. But what I'll do is we'll have a trailer full of barley. I'll tip half of it and I'll put the rest in store. I think I've got half a trailer of barley in store already, having done very much the same process only a little while ago. Barley's expensive. Seven, 6. Oh, that's interesting. I must have done that when I must have done that when I moved when I did the minerals. I must have bumped into it. I don't remember bumping into it, but there you go. That's the tricky bit. It's been bumped. It's been bumped by the barley and knocked out of kilter. There we go. Keep doing it until it stops taking it, and then I shall stop tipping it, because that means it'll be full. And it'll consume the little bit that's left. Okay. Well, that's interesting. It's just throwing a little bit in as and when. So it must have quite some capacity for holding on to barley, I guess. Because it's just dribbling a little bit in as and when. Oh well, another mystery not solved. Also, somehow I'm indicating right, which I don't remember doing, but I press all the buttons in such a panic at times. It's not a surprise. Let me go and grab the water. Piggy's getting some water until they're full. See how much water this needs. That might be enough, 3,000 litres, you never know. It doesn't require huge amounts. There we go. Now, carries on making the noise even after you've stopped doing it. Let's fill up with some suspiciously brown water from here. Let's just check on the sheep's water situation. They're fine for water, fine for food. Everyone seems to be okay. Well, that is incredibly irritating. You've gone down the wrong side. So we'll start all the way over here where you've only got one option. It's interesting that it's a process that can be done more than once, each time taking a few more stones out. Bit annoying because that's eaten up a chunk of time. Good bit of drillage going on over here. When this field is drilled, I will put the roller on this tractor and start rolling the fields, and then drill that final field last of all. Great demand at Sugar Company. I suspect not for anything that I have for sale. Right, I feel like it's cup of tea time. back with my lovely cup of tea. So, of course, doing the turning spaces for the stone picker is in one sense pointless because it drives straight over them. But on the other hand, it does ensure that the field is nice and neat. Right. Let us pray. Let us fold that little fella up. It's got enough seeds in it to do the last field, so I don't need to do anything additional. But I'm going to go and grab the roller, convert it from whatever kind of roller it is at the moment, possibly, it's probably already a field roller, I would think. We'll put this away for the time being, just to keep things nice and tidy. And I do just need to check when I'm going to sell my lentils and my chickpeas. I think it's December, but it's not impossible that it's November. And I'm sitting on a fortune that I'm not trading in. And the other thing I must remember to do is when I move through to the next month, move through to early in the morning of the next month, so that I don't miss out on a good price at the beginning of the day, which sometimes happens. That did say field roller, didn't it? I think it did. Let's pop in here and make sure that there's no mechanical repairs that's needed. A little bit. Little bit. Keep everything in good working order. Very important. You don't want to break down. It's too expensive. Scruffy bit in the corner there. So this is good because I like it, as I've banged on about on numerous previous occasions, when you get a really solid change of texture every time you go into a field. And if you use a seeder, you end up with a texture which looks indistinguishable from a rolled field. But with a planter, you get a more interesting texture, or at least with this planter. And then the only thing that will need to be done in here is some weed control, which I will do next month. Let's have a look at the answer to the question I was asking myself a few seconds ago, which is, when am I going to sell my my crops that I've just harvested? Stones, not worth very much. I've got 100, December, so it's November now, and lentils worth a little bit more. What are they currently going for? 1237 at the grain. It's always the blooming grain elevator, isn't it? Miles away. 1237 with a hard high of 1263. So we're pretty close. And those are going at 1343 at the grain elevator with a high of 1350. So I'm going to hang on. I will try and show some self-control and hang on. I'm going to quickly save the game, which is very boring, but I've been playing for an hour and a half and haven't saved, so it's probably a good idea. When I get to the end here, I'm going to do the tricky bit. Then we can crack on. Can't see the progress of the other tractor on the mini-map. It doesn't quite show up. Lovely stuff. Little tiny not rolled bit there. Progress is being made. Stones are being removed. Could I have pulled this with the little electric fella? 120 horsepower, probably pushing it a bit. Yeah. It doesn't have a great turning circle, does it? Oh look, we're starting all the way from back here. How charming. Oh, we're practically full. Why don't we therefore take this opportunity whilst we're here to sell these stones. This stuff has all moved again, but that isn't my doing on this occasion. I don't know why it's all moved, and I don't think it matters hugely. £354. My goodness gracious me. Very nice too. No doubt one could extract precious minerals or something from them, but I just want them out of the field and then not to think of it again. Which is good. I don't think the other fields have got them. I think that's the point that I've made on numerous occasions. Would it be prudent to do a width of the field so as not to be constantly driving over my neighbour's crop of parsnips? Like that. Might be just a decent thing to do. Sometimes that's all the incentive you need, just to do something because it's the right thing to do. I'm never going to get to turn around there, am I? Come on. Give yourself a bit more of a chance. Right, there we go. That should just run itself out. Likewise, this is only down here, up and down one more time, and I think it's done. Then we can sow this field, which has good pH, it's got no weeds. Sorry, a little bit irresponsible. All the way to the end, even though I would argue that is unnecessary. Now, does it have enough to do this whole strip in one? Well, it might just. We line ourselves up absolutely down the centre. That's very nice. We'll just keep an eye out for any individual stones that might have been forgotten or missed. We might Hasselhoff out and grab them. Great. Well, I'm glad that I've done that because those stones have been annoying me. And they're now got rid of. So I am pleased about that. It's quite fun to use this machine, which is not a bad machine at all. I know there are bigger ones. Let's send it back to the manufacturers. Thank you very much for the lend of that. I am aware that loan would have been a better word. This is the last field to be drilled. It's amazing how you can get through. Heck of a lot of stuff if you just knuckle down and crack on with it. I do think it might be nice to have a second roller. Spend quite a lot of time rolling. Ah, interesting texture. It's going to annoy me when I come to roll. This is because I've ploughed. I ploughed the field and scattered. Oh, I thought I was going to get a nice texture off this, but because I'm pretty certain it's because I've ploughed, I ain't getting no nice texture. Which means rolling will require some concentration. Maybe that is different. The ridge is a little bit deeper. Perhaps. Perhaps. Maybe 3 is unnecessary, given how comfortably that coped with just the 1. Anyway, 3 it's getting. Oh, having said that, I think it was not going to be a terribly accurate turn. So let's go there. Let's check on the progress here, nearly done. Just ambient noise. Some microphone noise, I think. And here we very much nearly are. Just a little quick out of the traps there I was. We are well on our way. Right, I think at the 2 hour mark, and given that I think my microphone is making some crackly noises, which might be incredibly irritating, I think I'm going to stop the stream and finish this off at the next turn. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you again soon. Oh, I missed a bit. That's annoying.